It's just to say it again and welcome again, Andy, and sorry again for this little problem with the connection. But we are here just to resolve problems, and it's always fun to hear how it's going. And so, welcome again. It's your time to present yourself because it's the second time we have a webinar in English, and there's another guest from an international part, and so it's your time right now, and now it's working perfectly. So don't worry about it. It's your words, your position, and share with us what we are doing,
Right.
what we are talking about, and so on.
Thanks very much, Claudio. So just a brief introduction. My name's Andy Goodwin. I'm the CEO of a German crowdfunding platform called Bettervest, based in Germany. And we operate in the impact and sustainability space. We've recognized over the years that if we are serious about the impact we make on the environment, we have to do something about it. And we are there to help projects, help entrepreneurs who have ideas of new projects in areas of the world which are difficult, for us to connect them with investors. So our platform has over the years funded more than 25 million euro of projects in this space.
Just to say it again, because it's 25 billion.
25 million.
A million. Yeah, okay. 25. And
Yep.
that's
over the last 8 or 9 years. So we fund on average 2 to 3 million euro a year of projects. Now, these are generally projects that are small scale, they are startup, and they are in primarily Africa and Asia. The key focus, of course, is making an impact. And we connect them with some 15,000 investors that are sitting in Germany. Our projects, the owners of our projects come from all over the world. So for your Italian viewers, if they have ideas in terms of projects that they think they would like to take forward, but they lack financing, this is an ideal platform for them to arrange financing for their projects. So that's what we do. We are very successful. In the impact space, we are probably the largest crowdfunding platform in Germany, although there are a lot of other crowdfunding platforms in Europe.
And this is the most important part, because I was asking you, sorry, because sometimes I interrupt, but it's for the best quality. It's for the best quality of this webinar. It's about, so Bettervest is from Germany. It has a German DNA, but you are operating from Germany and inside of Germany, and even on other platforms, other countries, not just like a platform based and tied up in one single country, I think, yeah?
Of course. So what we have is our investor base is primarily German, and this is individual investors, people that would like to make a contribution to projects in the impact space, people that feel that it's close to their heart. They're based in Germany, but the projects we put onto the platform are throughout the developing world. We've also done some in the developed world, but primarily in the developing world. So you went onto the platform today, we do projects in India, we do projects in the Philippines, projects in Uganda, in Kenya, in Ghana. We've done projects in Colombia. So wherever there's a need for a project in the impact space, where financing is difficult, people can approach Bettervest. And if the project thresholds, we then are able to put it onto our platform and attract investments through the investors that are based in Germany. So I know many of your viewers are, of course, Italian entrepreneurs. If they have projects in, let's say, Africa, where they've got a very good idea, but they struggle to get finance, they can put their project onto the Bettervest platform and seek funding through the German investment base.
And yeah, so you totally got the problem there, because people are like for getting investments, and don't forget to talk about how type is this investment to, like related to. For example, it's I know the answer. Don't worry, but it's a risk, is it equity capital, or it's debt capital, or is something different, like a revenue, like a reward crowdfunding based platforms and so on? And what are you
Yeah,
looking for? Because and right now we are going to the European regulation, so it will be something to
correct,
manage, and it's tied up with this part of the type of the investment you can ask to for your projects. And so,
correct.
say
So
your something.
we operate in the debt space, not in the equity space. So a business that would typically be going and knocking on the door of a local bank for funding, we would be the alternative to that. It's generally loans that are made to the project that allow the project to go ahead, and those loans get repaid over a period of 3, 4, 5, 6 years. Um, and that's the way it works. We know that just arranging debt financing in Africa, for example, is not easy.
No.
It's also very, very time consuming. And what we offer is we offer debt that's uh, uh, the same as what you would get from the bank, but our process of approval is quicker. Having said that, and you've alluded to it, that at the end of this year, European community will enact common mechanisms across the whole of the European Union. What that does, up to now, countries have been regulated by their own country regulator. So in our case, we are regulated by the German regulator. That imposes upon us conditions which which mean that we can only attract investment from German investors. However, with the change that's coming about going into 2024, we would be able to uh, make use of the attraction of investors throughout the whole of the European Union for projects that we list on our platform. So it's quite an exciting change, but it's still in the process of playing itself out. However, having said all of that, bottom line is that there are a multitude of projects, good ideas that lack financing. And irrespective of what happens on the European regulation side, people can approach us and we are able to list their projects on the platform. Today it's for German investors, but in the future it's European investment wide.
And so this is the starting point, and then we have to challenge the opportunity of do crowdfunding in investments and sustainable parts. So the sector is very important, very strict to investment in something which is going to grow, which is sustainable, and it's super clear. So third part countries and so on. And for you is something super challenging, and it's something related to it's something super difficult to explain, or you can ask for people to you can challenge people to try it, because sometimes the results are so much better than what they can expect starting from the beginning.
You know, you will know, and many of your viewers will know that the cost to invest in environmentally sustainable and environmentally friendly projects is not is quite high, and the returns often are marginal. Um, of course, Europe has managed it because we are relatively rich, and also we've got a very good social system, and we have a good system of subsidies and tariffs, etc. When you move to the developing world, those same projects, which are good for the environment, do not have the same advantages of access to good, cheap funding and regulation, like the use of subsidies and tariffs. So therefore, these projects, as even though they're very good for the environment, they are difficult to find financing. And that's the challenge. I think that's the biggest challenge. So this is a mechanism for the colleagues in Africa, India, Asia that want to get a very good environmentally sustainable project up and going, where they are struggling with financing, for us to facilitate that.
So that's perfect. And the second point, it's about how we look projects in developing countries like Asia and Africa. Are they just in just to know, better than other projects, maybe more challenging, maybe something more attractive for other investors? Or what do you think about it? It's mandatory, maybe right now, to find developing countries like this one, or what do you expect? Just related to Asia and Africa, and what's the point for you? What's the point? It's just about
So
being.
what we so you get many different crowdfunding platforms, of course, and they operate in different sectors.
Yeah.
Operate in the real estate sector or the hospitality sector. Bettervest, our business, concentrates in the impact space because we know it's difficult to get funding in that space. So for us, it's the challenge is working with the project owners to make their projects viable so that we can offer a viable and sustainable project to our investors, but that still has an impact on the environment. So we are a speciality platform in that respect, is that we focus solely in the impact space. But having said that, there are a multitude of projects. You just think of the renewable energy space, whether it's wind or whether it's solar or small scale hydro projects. You think in the mobility space, where we're talking about e-vehicles, the charging station. If you think in the water space, the whole area of providing clean water and dealing with wastewater. If you think of the whole area of waste, plastics, recycling, fertilizer. So there's a huge array of projects that fit exactly in the impact space that we know we can find funding for. And so it's for those entrepreneurs out there that have ideas in any one of these areas. We are the place to come, and we can facilitate the funding in that respect.
So that's a perfect point where we can understand better how means getting collect money from different countries and then use that money to go to another one. So could be seems like very difficult, but then when you think about it, it's about the same world. So we are on the same planet and we have to think about it.
Exactly. What you have is on one side you have people that do have money and want to use that money in a good area, and then on the other side you have good areas but no money. And what we try to do is bring the truth together.
So this is a very interesting perspective because we need to think about asset class as an investor, but it's a very good asset class where to invest in, and then people can understand how crowdfunding could be better than other debt revenue, other debt way to collect money, and because you are validating in the same time your project through crowdfunding, and you can get more people interested in because you are promoting it via a crowdfunding platform and so on. So and you can mix different type of debts, for example, and different type of money to collect more as you
Of
can.
course. And different kind of lenders, different kind of equity for different kind of instruments. The other interesting part is that we have seen how these businesses grow because we lend them money, they pay the money off, they come back to us for a second tranche of investment because they're now growing. They open up a second business. They put more solar panels on more houses or more shops. So every time that their business grows, and in some of them we've already funded 3 or 4 different rounds of debt raising as their projects have grown. So it's it's definitely a partnership that we therefore in the long run to support our owners.
Yeah, this is the point every time because we talk about crowdfunding is not a sprint, but it's a marathon. And you have to
Exactly
start. You
right.
have to say it's not just a single, just not the single campaign is a marathon, but even your whole uh, life, your whole company life is a marathon. And maybe you have to think about crowdfunding as a peak, a perk, sorry, just the tail, how to manage to get more money, to get more feedbacks, to get more marketing stuff. You know, so for us, it's always the
Yeah.
average, but people needs to understand more about it because it's not just about collecting money via internet. It's something more. It's something more.
No. And the other thing that we have access to, because the German government is committed um, to the whole area of climate change through their non-government organization GIZ, we can offer to project owners a service where they can get advice at the early stage about how does one put together a financial model, how does one build a business plan. They can look at some training for some of their staff. Those services are also available. We're in partnership with GIZ in this respect. So even for people that have an idea but don't know where to start, if they can approach us, we'll be able to assist them through our partnership arrangement with GIZ.
I will give you the opportunity, just one. I'm joking about it, to give you to give us all the contacts data and how to get you and something even Bettervest. Yeah, you know bettervest.com. It's the most simple part, but just before getting there, I need to understand you about. We are talking about a new regulation in Italy for collecting money, and that's super okay. We already talked about it, and that's okay. But on the other part, we need to understand, and you are better than me for sure, 100%, to tell us how it's going, how is it working, how is it modifying the experience of creating projects in that developing countries. So collecting money is evolving with new regulations and stuff like that. That's okay. But what about new emerging trends in that cities? This could be a business for people because we need also to let them people know how to do it in the best way. So maybe something like, yeah, I'm interested in crowdfunding, but I don't know if my project could be suites for that part in that developing country. So what about the trends, as I was saying, in that countries, and what do you think about it? It's going to keep growing because they are developing as they know before, or it's something going to a plateau, or maybe something like that. What is that? How is going there? You were aiming for something like they are getting bigger,
Yep.
like the cities and so on, but I don't know it.
Yep. Yeah. So we have, I think what one needs to do is understand very important drivers for for the opportunities in these markets. The first is that in general there is a massive desire by governments in the developing world to also do their part towards a green economy, or to try and deal with the impacts of climate change. So there's that desire, and we see it through things like the amount of workshops, the amount of associations, um, the policy changes that are coming from governments in places like Africa, India, etc. So that's the one big driver, and as that continues, it'll create opportunities. But the second big driver is that there is a shortage of ideas, there's a shortage of developers, and there's a shortage of money. So the policy change that's being driven by the governments is is creating a need, a huge need for ideas and projects, which will then in turn drive the need for funding. So if you just again, if I just use an example like energy, the whole drive in Africa towards renewable energy and self-sustained energy and off-grid solar, and mini grids, that is already being legislated and policy driven by government. But behind it, we need people that want to get involved, that come up with the ideas, that see the opportunities, that will drive people to knock on the door of Bettervest to say, I have an idea now I need the money. So there is a real drive in the developing world to create opportunities to deliver projects that clearly are impacting our environment.
This is very important, and so you were already setting the ball for a good smash by yourself because we have to do as a beach volley uh, example. So we are talking about, so clock knocking at our door. ask for us for pledging a project there, and we will see how to do it. So how can we we can present the best way our project to Bettervest, and it's your advertising time. It's not just about bettervest.com and add goodwill on LinkedIn. We know it, that's perfect. But the most important part is how can I present my project in the best way for not get rejected, for example, because I'm not the best KPIs or maybe not the best ideas there. So some insights about how to do it in the best way.
So again, so there are two avenues for this. Is that we have in our business, we have two people that are there to guide and to help potential entrepreneurs on getting their projects to a point that we can make a decision whether it's viable or not. So I think the best way to do it is firstly the Bettervest portal. So if you're on www.bettervest.com, you can actually follow the investment process. How does it work? What do I need to do? Secondly, if you're interested, you can mail us. We will have two people that will contact you, that will say to you, "Hi, Claudio, I got the email. Can I help you? Can I give you guidance? This is how the process works. These are the documents we would require." So we actually personalize the service once you've got a hold of us.
Okay, so we know everything, not at all. We need to know something more every time, but it's a very good starting point to attract money from European investors and put them in different countries for different projects. And we know maybe better could be the best partners we can find, because we were talking about not being a sprinter but marathon people. So this will be the best, I think, best suggest we can give to others. Do you want to add something more about this? Something like
Well, I think the other thing is that we have also a number of partners. So often what will happen is that for larger projects, we would have co-funders. So we would get two or three other crowdfunding platforms that have an interest. We would work together. So that allows us to facilitate a greater interest by investors in different countries. For example, we work very closely with a number of crowdfunding platforms in Holland and in Austria. So for a good project, you don't only have access to investors from Germany, you have access to investors from Holland and from Austria. So um, that opportunity is also there because we do have a series of partners. And I think the best way to start is to start, right? You can talk and talk, but the best way to start is send us an email, drop me an email, ask a question, and we can start the process to see whether the project's viable or not.
I really like to say practice beats grammar 100% times.
Yes, I like that. Yep.
This is my one of the main topics here, but and it's perfect. So, Andy, I think we just finished our webinar, and thank you very much for your time, for your sharing and your experience there. And I hope some people can ask you about how can I host my project on Bettervest, and how can I raise money here, or maybe something venture join and something like that, because partnerships and clients and stuff like that are the best in these cases. And so if you don't have nothing more to say,
Well,
it's your time to say goodbye to
well,
others, and see you on the next time on other stuff there.
well, thank you, Claudio. Thanks for the opportunity. And again, the offer is always there to any one of your viewers. Contact us and we will give you a personal service back. So thanks very much for your time. Good night. Sure, sure.
See you again next time, and very thanks at all, and thanks everyone there, and see you again next time, and
Thank you.
always here on Turbo Crowd webinars. Thank you very
Good.
much, and bye bye again. Thank you, Goodwin.
Bye bye.
Henry.